Oh, that's right. I gotta go there, huh? Oh, am I gonna make it? Barely.
Need help? Have a good one.
Ah, this is really fast.
No longer. Was LFR worse than LFD? I'm thinking about this. This is a genuine concern. I'm thinking about BDO so bad. LFR, like, I feel like LFR would have never happened if you didn't have LFD. But the truth is that, like, the dungeons and everything like that, I feel like if we had looking for dungeon right now and you took out LFR, the game would be okay. Like, in retail WoW, it would be okay. But if you didn't take out LFR, or sorry, you kept LFR in the game and you removed the dungeon finder, the game would still suck. So, and like, it's not like LFR being removed would make the game better entirely, but it would be a huge step forward. And I guess, yeah, I agree with that. Actually, yeah, LFR probably was, I don't know, what do you guys think? What was the biggest, like, the biggest singular decision Blizzard has ever made in WoW that was a mistake? I feel like LFR might have actually been it. Titan Forging? I don't know. It's really hard for me to say. I think that Titan Forging is not as bad as LFR. I think that Titan Forging is really bad, but LFR is worse because it diminishes social systems in a much stronger way. Yeah, I would say that's probably at flying. I don't think flying is that bad, right? Flying in Azeroth is not even that bad. As I said, there is more world PvP in War Mode and Retail WoW than there is in Classic WoW. Flying has no impact. Flying, it has an impact, right? Flying is not the determining factor of world PvP. Wrong? You guys don't even play WoW. Like, come on. Relax.
Longer did you have to try?
What?
The game and its mysteries were now handed to you on a silver platter in the style of a queued automated raid simulation with LFR. As the expansions went by, these greedy attempts at expanding the player base continued unabashedly. Twinks were removed from the game. All classes became more and more homogenized, and the Fun Police meme had been born.
Yep.
Not to mention, an in-game shop was introduced, targeting the most mentally deficient of players with cheap impulse buy marketing tactics. Throughout this entire downfall, J. Alianak Brakos' narcissism knew no bounds. He was the leading vision of World of Warcraft from his ivory tower, designing the game entirely around his own needs and wants, not the players. At one BlizzCon, he was challenged about flex rating, and subconsciously, the truth came out.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit much. You know, that he's designing the game around his own. Like, that seems like it's a bit much to me. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like this is a bit of a hyperbole.
He stated how flex rating was designed for players like himself and his guild of crusty boomers.
It's satire?
A guild
Okay,
with
that's
no
fine.
ability to compete in the raid scene, but still wanted to raid extremely casually.
Yeah.
He talked about how flex rating allowed him and his retirement home guildmates to collect epics as well and join the party. He was out of touch. He didn't know how to connect with the audience of his product on a human level, because in fact, he was not human. It was revealed on a 4chan board that he was actually created in the same laboratory as Mark Zuckerberg in the underground facilities of Area 51. He was synthesized in that lab by Joe Dante, the director of the movie Gremlins from 1984, which was the same year
Of course.
that J. Allen Brack graduated from high school.
Of course.
Coincidence?
I think not.
I think not. The game we all knew had become a mere shadow of itself. It became an amalgamation. Activision had infiltrated and infected the Blizzard Entertainment offices like...
Can we fucking look just for a second here about how much bullshit this poll was? Watch the knockback here.
Automation.
I moved out of the knockback. And I moved out of that one.
Had infiltrated
And right here, I'm moving here.
and infected the Blizzard Entertainment.
Dude, it's been over a year.
offices
Can you get
like-
over it already?
Okay, actually that was...
It's been like a year and a half, dude.
It didn't even show up halfway through. Like, I had literally like a quarter of a
You
second
need
to
to
react to
move
that.
on, dude.
It's bullshit, man. Look at that face, dude. Look at that face. I knew it was about to happen, right? I was pissed. I was fucking furious.
Like a virus. This pushed more and more of the core player base away. And
Yeah.
once games like Dota 2, League of Legends, and other mainstream alternatives hit the market, many players ditched the World of Warcraft for something fresh and new.
Oh,
but
great.
Blizzard still had that one demographic that they had spent so many years chasing in the push for extending profits for the shareholders.
Yeah.
The consumers who don't ask questions, but merely consume, and consume, and consume.
Yep.
They milked and milked and milked their
Yep.
target consumer until there was just no more milk left in the teat. This model was not sustainable. Once games like Fortnite came out, the dances in Fortnite were just too much for these normie consumers to resist. They swiftly ditched
Oh,
World
no.
of Warcraft so they could floss and dab to their heart's content.
Yeah,
Things
it's-
looked bad,
That's true.
but there was still hope on the horizon. A glimmer of hope from years prior. A hooded Avenger who
I think that, like...
traveled all the way to the Eye of
Oh.
Sauron itself,
Oh my god.
BlizzCon.
Oh
He may
my
look
god.
just like a boy to you, but he is no mere boy.
Oh my god.
Just like Edward Elric from Full Metal,
Of course.
looks can be deceiving. He was one of the most powerful mortals in the land. He fought his way to the Council of narcissistic game developers at Activision's lair, and set off a chain
Yeah.
of events, which would forever be mired in the history of Azeroth for generations to come. He is an unspoken hero. In fact, his name is still unknown to this day, an unknown martyr who thrusted himself into the spotlight, sacrificing his body for the greater good
Oh my
of his
God.
people. A hero of the Horde,
Oh
a
my
hero of the
God.
Alliance. His
Okay.
legacy knows no faction. He is the avatar of Azeroth.
I feel like this is a vanilla WoW player. This is straight up. This is the same fucking picture that I had. Remember that one picture I showed you guys from back in vanilla WoW that I had where I was sitting with my hood on playing classic WoW? Like, this is the exact same fucking thing, man. I feel like this is it. This is the avatar of classic WoW players right here. And it's pretty fucking cool to see, right? I guess, like, yeah, now that you think about it, I guess a lot
I don't remember where they are.
a lot of the motivation for classic WoW happened right after this. But I feel like what it really was is that WoD came out and it sucked. And because it sucked, people wanted classic. And that's why a lot of the people that were like, oh yeah, Legion, like there were less people that wanted classic
Fuck
in Legion
you.
comparatively than wanted it in WoD. And then whenever BFA came out, everybody wanted it. What, you think Legion's worse than was worse than WoD?
No, I'm just saying this guy changed lives. This guy set in motion events that it's changed everybody. You know, it's changed your perspective on gaming. It's changed your life in some way. You know, this guy seriously.
Oh, these feathers. Okay.
There, man.
That's doable.
He did. He did. He ruined a lot of lives too. People are playing classic WoW right now instead of doing anything else, and it's beautiful.
Now we just sit here and wait for the wolf to die.
Azeroth. On this faithful day, the words were spoken.
Well, this might help.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No.
No.
And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
And by the way, you don't want that to be that either. You think you do, but you don't.
The reaction from J. Alianak Brakos was, you think
Okay,
you do,
thanks for 25
but
months,
you
man.
don't. His narcissism again was on full display. This was
Wow, they're everywhere over here, huh?
Holy Avenger triggered, which
Yeah.
caused a line of following events that led to today.
I think Nostalgia shutting down this
or
next big thing.
neglect of demand does not squelch the demand. So the
Prohibition.
players did exactly what you think they would: circumvent the system. The statement alone triggered a huge influx in
That's the
demand
private server stuff.
Unofficial vanilla realms, developed by sweaty Europeans smoking cigarettes in their mother's house. The seed had officially bloomed. Server after server, each one outdoing the last, until peak private server vanilla experience was achieved. A group of selfless devs grouped together to form the greatest private server movement to ever grace the internet.
I do feel like Nostalgia probably was the best private server, right? I mean, I didn't really know, like, I didn't play on it myself, but like everybody that I've talked to, I've seen other people playing on it. It was like the best private server. And that's why Blizzard shut it down.
It's too far away.
Was
The least
Nostalria's
corrupt too.
Progressive
Yeah.
Realms. It was unlike any server the player base had ever seen.
Yeah.
And like anything of quality on the internet.
Did you check your graphic settings over there, woman?
Word of mouth.
Yep.
1 million accounts created, 15,000 players online every single day, with thousands waiting in the queue.
Come on.
Thriving community,
That is a
bringing
lot, man.
players from all realms
Come on.
together on one.
I have a lot of rested XP. Holy shit.
But it was almost too good to be true. And as you would think, it didn't exactly end well. They got too big for their own good. The previous private realms were smaller and more spread out, but Nostalrius broke that notion. In fact, they shattered it. All of the other servers
He's got the
almost
mount.
died overnight after the Nostalrius launch.
He's got the mount, man.
Nostalrius absorbed all of their players,
Yep.
while simultaneously building enough name recognition and community notoriety to attract brand new, disgruntled retail players to the classic experience.
That's how everybody was. Like, I remember whenever Nostalrius came out, people were just playing Nostalrius because they hated current WoW. Like, I think that people almost played the game out of spite. They're like, fuck you, Blizzard. We're playing Nostalrius. We don't have time for this shit at all. I almost played on Nostalrius. I'd never played on a private server. I never did. Not even once. But
Oh, you wait until I leave.
Nostalrius was
Okay.
the closest that I ever came.
1 million accounts created on a private server. The Activision team of lawyers were clearly
I need to make a guild.
tasked.
Oh, that's the
See,
Avengers.
despite everything,
How many level 1 bots are there?
there was one fatal kink in their armor. An Achilles heel, so to speak. An oversight that at the time seemed like a bad idea. But in the grander vision, in hindsight, it was destiny. The actual server infrastructure that the Nostalrius team was hosted on was located in France. See, most private servers were hosted in Russia.
Yep.
This gave them protection from American cease and desist letters. Vladimir Putin would wipe his arse with them and light them on fire. The server was left with no
pretty much.
choice but to close shop. It became
Yeah.
a viral sensation.
Yep.
Videos started to spread to thousands
remember
of
watching
players
this
in
one.
Ironforge, Oberron, Stormwind,
Holy
preparing for the
shit.
Azerothi's apocalypse. It was done, and overnight, hundreds of
Can we just take into consideration the fact that there are so many people there and there's no fucking lag hardly? Like, I mean, really, there's like, where's the lag?
thousands of World of Warcraft's most die-hard fans were left without a home, cold on the streets.
I thought it was gonna trip me to
But
the gold. I
throughout
didn't notice
history,
that. Shit.
it's always been
Look
the
at
most
everybody, man.
disenfranchised, desperate masses
fuck?
that rise up and revolt to overthrow the throne.
Absolutely.
Which is exactly what happened. The community was not about to take this one lying down. It was time to form a coalition
I like that
and
picture,
send a
dude.
message to the corporate overlords at Activision Blizzard. It was
That's us.
time
We're the
to take
Power Rangers.
matters into our own hands. So what did the vanilla soldiers do? Exactly what you'd expect. Meme. The community memed. And memed. And memed. And memed some more.
Yep.
It became a movement. So Activision did exactly what you would expect from a corrupt, tyrannical power. They deployed their militant shills. They mounted a defense of the
boy.
Blizzard IP,
Oh,
but
boy.
severely underestimated their
Oh,
opponents.
boy.
It was a futile effort. Once again, Activision Blizzard was severely out of touch. Their feeble attempt at countering the storm headed in their direction was swiftly overwhelmed, their fortifications decimated. I still have my battle memorabilia from the clash all those years ago.
I feel like people are a little bit too hard on Panzer. Like, I think people, like, they kind of forget about the fact that it's a game. Like, they make all these, like, really serious personal attacks. Like, the thing is that, like, the classic WoW community, they're just so intense about everything and so, like, vitriolic about it that even
Oops, I
somebody
forgot
who's
to
saying, yeah, I don't really like
release
classic
it.
WoW, I don't think it'd be a good idea, this person gets, like, attacked constantly, you know? Like, this is, it's ridiculous. Like, the way that people responded to it, and even now, right, if you even say, like, retail, some things in retail are better than classic, like, people just go absolutely apeshit. Like, they're completely unreasonable. No, simp? Well, no, here's the thing, right? You call me a simp all you want, right? You call me whatever the fuck you want to call me. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to say what the fucking truth is. You know what really being a simp is? It's not being a bitch to one girl. It's being a bitch to fucking 30,000 other bitches that can't admit the fact that sometimes disagreeing with somebody over a video game is not a reason to fucking harass them in real life. Don't be a fucking bitch about that. It's ridiculous.
300,000 soldiers amassed.
Yep.
And the strategy was set in motion. We had the men. All we needed was an entry point, and we found our Trojan horse. His name was Mark Kern, a founding member of the Vanilla team. An
Yep.
exiled
That's the easiest quest ever.
based Twitter Chad,
Yep.
the epitome of the red
Wait,
pill.
he changed his fucking
He was
chin?
perfect.
Oh my god.
The strategy was set. The soldiers were packed on the Trojan horse, and Mark Kern
Okay.
gave us access. Mark Kern brought the petition straight to the top of Blizzard, right to Mike Morheim's lair. Activision had been infiltrated, and our Trojan horse opened the door
Yep.
for what was to be the first steps towards a glorious
I remember
victory.
watching this.
The Nostalria's developer
That
team
was awesome.
was invited to a roundtable discussion at the Blizzard HQ.
Yep.
They went to work advocating for the classic experience, and we couldn't have asked for better ambassadors.
So I remember Mark Kern, if I remember.
Hey, Ren, how's it
I
going?
could be wrong about this, but I remember the story was that Mark Kern was going to personally bring a list of every single person's name who wanted Classic WoW back, and he printed every single one of them out.
I
onto
need
a
to
sheet of
go.
paper, and he was going to deliver them personally.
So I want a
to
hearth
Blizzard
here.
Entertainment
Yeah, I'm gonna
headquarters.
hearth.
And whenever he came over there, and he did this, right? These are all the stacks of paper. There were apparently employees that were offering to help Mark, but Mark, just as Jesus carrying his cross to the fucking the mountain, would only accept his own help, and he took it all by himself. Yeah, the literal God, an actual literal God. The story is so ridiculous, and the best part about it is that it's real. It's one of
I
the
keep
craziest
getting these
things,
gift
right, is that,
vouchers. I don't want them.
like, some of these stories, like, there's no way that you could write something that's that. Well, you could, of course, you could write something like that. Star Wars was made up, but the fact that these things are just like so completely off the wall and insane whenever you really step back and look at them, and they've happened, and people just accept this. This is just what happened. It's great.
They gathered all the stats from the Nostalrius days, and
I don't
presented
think there's like a forge or an anvil here.
explained the
Pretty
theory
sure,
behind
and I don't
why
feel like
Valhalla
looking
was
for
in
one.
such high demand.
So
And lo and behold,
I'm just gonna
as
fly.
rumored, at the next BlizzCon, a familiar face resurfaced on the stage. The ultimate irony:
I was here.
the demon had seemingly been enslaved.
You guys notice like all his fucking hair is gray now? Like 1 year. I don't know what the fuck happened in that 1 year, but holy shit.
Yeah,
Jay
I
Allen
listen to random videos
entered the scene,
most of the time,
subdued
just as like some
and remorseful.
background noise to listen to while I'm playing this mind-numbing game.
The official confirmation that Classic WoW was being developed for the player base. The tune had
So what's wrong with your cat?
The universe had seemingly been restored to its rightful order.
Of course.
The battle had been won, but the war still rages on.
Absolutely.
Flash forward today, and we are on the verge
Story
of
stopped.
realizing
Yeah.
it doesn't pause?
we've
No.
recruited Lord Baldicus
That's why I'm
to
still
carry
sitting
our
here
fight
without any coffee.
and merge his Asmoncuck army into the battle line, doubling our collective power. They say, if you can't beat him, join him after all.
Okay.
Lord Baldicus had become an ambassador for the classic dream.
Yeah?
With Lord Baldicus at our side, the word has spread to the masses.
It has.
Millions have amassed behind the soldiers of classic,
Yep.
forming the final frontier. The future is inevitable, and our collective power
Lord
is
Baldicus.
not to be underestimated. On August 26th, the soldiers charge the gates, and J. Allen Brack will be brought to his knees, banished to another realm. It seems
Okay.
that the war has been won,
I guess
at
so.
least for now. So get ready, friends. It's
Jeez.
time to claim the spoils of war.
It sure
we
is.
fought hard for this day. And again, on August 26th, we finally return to Sanctuary, Vanilla World of
Fuck
Warcraft.
yeah, dude.
Welcome
Fuck.
home.
Yeah, dude. That was a good video. That was a really good fucking video. Lord Baldicus has accepted his role as king of incels. He now travels the world doing seminars on how to lose your virginity. It involves getting Twitch famous. Okay, okay, Punkrat. Mark Kern's job of protecting the realm is done. Some say he's retired near a beach resort where he mainly focuses on red pilling the masses through base tweets. Panzer was never forgiven by the community. Apparently she's streaming on Facebook or some shit.
My game isn't froze, it just freezes when I alt tab.
Okay.
Hey guys, what's up? Mad Season here, back with another video for you. Azeroth is a
Alright,
big place
proceed.
with lots of secrets to uncover, including hidden vendors. Some of them just serve as a convenient way
I
to
know
collect
like 2 of
things,
these, that's about it.
and others hold expensive and rare patterns that can net you a pretty penny on the auction house. Categorizing what is a hidden vendor and what isn't is a bit tricky.
Hey, Dad.
For me, it's anyone that can't be found in a main
Computer
town
one,
or
much more
quest
sharp.
guide. Just random NPCs
we found that
behind
first.
hostile territory
Oh, wow,
in
playing
the
on
middle
some
of nowhere.
Oh, what?
Nonetheless, I thought it
Because
was
that's what
an
works
interesting
best.
video.
Extra quality on low? What the
Let's get
fuck?
into it.
Can't look a
So,
little around.
not really in any particular order.
My
First
computer
up,
can't
we
run
have
it this
Vice
time.
Profiteer.
Yeah,
Does he still like
Come
red
on,
stuff?
Warriors of Inbrook are rewarded
No,
with
you
this
can't.
gear,
We found this out
as well as
last time.
some
There was a
nice
shit ton of
level
lagging.
and also the alchemy recipe for the Warrior's Rage Potion.
I need to use those more
Be
often.
wary though, as the inn's packed with plenty of bandits.
Yes,
that
it
spread everywhere.
does, but it's gonna lag the fuck out.
Next, we have a rather popular one, LvL.
Yeah.
This is an imp vendor who's especially important because he's needed for the quest chain for the epic warlock mount, the Dreadsteed. He sells the Elementium rod that they need
Okay.
for a quest.
Oh
Also,
yeah,
few
that's a
other
lot of
items
money.
note. Some Grom's
And
blood,
2
also
Felcloth,
some
holy
Felcloth
shit.
in limited stock.
I didn't even know that.
Just in case anyone is new, when you see a number in the top left of the icon, that means that
Okay.
there's only a limited amount that anyone can buy, so you have to be quick. These cost 80 silver each, and depending on your server, these could turn a profit. For mine, they go for around 2 gold, so it's something worth checking out. if
I
you
thought
happen to
Felcloth
be
was worth a
looking
lot
for
more,
a
actually, more than 2
I
gold.
don't know why I did it.
The Grom's
But
blood
then it-
can also
the
turn
words are hard.
profit.
I
Again,
hated the
depending on your
keyboard.
server, so use
The
your own
looting.
judgment.
Looting is like the worst
Okay.
fucking thing.
And next, we have one for all of you engineers out
But
there. The Mithril Mechanical Dragonling.
I'm
is
also
a handy
noticing that
trinket
like
that
this
serves as a
turn
pet
speed is
summon.
really
The
fucking
only way to
fast.
learn it is via a recipe. Hidden away
And then
in
my
this little
mouse speed.
engineer hut in the hinterlands,
Wow.
you can find Ruppo Zipcoil, who sells this recipe for
It's pretty
40
fucking
silver.
crazy.
And right next to him is Gidget Zipcoil, who sells the Iron Feather Shoulders recipe for leather workers. Something
Okay.
noteworthy for recipes in general is that even if you don't need them, typically you can earn some gold by reselling them on the auction house.
Pause. All right, we'll go back to the video.
I smoked too.
Here we go. I'll skip back a little bit.
For leather workers. Something noteworthy for recipes
I
in
see you
general
have somebody
is
in your
that
chat.
if
Did they
you don't
leave?
need them, typically you can earn some gold by
Yeah,
reselling
you just
them
buy
at
them
the
and
auction
resell them.
house.
There's no
Does it
reason
look
never
like
to
they
buy
It's a
left?
them.
market for lazy people who don't want to make the trek out there, so
Yep.
it can be a nice and easy way to earn some extra gold on the side.
That's me,
I
by
like
the
how
way.
you're
Level
on
one
my
up number one,
computer.
Then fill up
with
your
your
bags
pets
once every few weeks and send them over to
Wait,
a bank all
you had a
set.
bunch of shit
Yep.
running.
Speaking of Dragonlings though, next up we have the normal mechanical Dragonling schematic.
Where the fuck
for
is
Mass
that?
Blunderflame. You can find them hidden away here.
Oh,
just south
I
of the
talked to
Ogre
that
Mound
guy the
in
other
Struggle
day.
for Veil Zone.
When I was
Again,
leveling.
another good seller in the auction
Oh
house
my
here.
rogue,
if you go to
wow.
the trouble of picking them up.
Forgot all about
As
this
you
one.
can see, on my server, it's an average of 8 gold for a
Yeah.
1 gold investment. And right next to Nas Blunderflame
You're just printing
is
money.
Nas Blunderflame, his brother. He sells another engineer schematic,
Okay.
this time for the Deadly Scope. Anyways though, next up we have Blistick, who can be found in the abandoned 2-story building
Mhm.
right here at Raven Hill. This guy's
Oh,
rather
yeah, that's with
helpful
all
for
the
this level
spirits,
because
right?
he sells potions.
Yeah.
Pretty beefy ones, in fact. So a handy tip is to always check for them when you're doing your questing here. And for your alchemists out there, he also sells the recipe for the
That's
shadow
really
oil.
good.
Another neutral vendor
That is
here
really
is
good.
Broken, who can be found in the middle of nowhere atop this wall. in
What the
ruins of
fuck?
Altrak. Again,
I've never
another
seen
handy
this guy
vendor
before.
because he sells you some nice potions for the level.
Wow.
And also the frost oil recipe for alchemists once more.
Okay.
And since we're in the area, we may as well talk about Zixel. This guy is a bit less hidden as he patrols around a rather busy area. He'll barter between South Shore and Terran Mill, and also take a pit stop at the ruined tower between the two towns.
Okay.
So, not the most hidden, but he's still rather important because he sells a buttload of crap. A few belts
Wow.
for any casters out there, some offhand orbs,
God damn.
an enchanting recipe.
I'm gonna keep that
for
in
the ones
mind.
related to
I might
boots,
actually go here and
and
buy
the
this guy.
pattern for the 8-slat red woolen bag, earth and leather shoulders pattern
Holy
for leather
shit,
workers,
dude.
and most importantly, the goblin jumper cable schematics for engineers. Oftentimes, he'll be out of stock on the cable specifically, since it's a rather popular item for engineers, so it might take a few tries.
Wow.
And another handy one is Chris Legace, who can be found a bit to the east, just outside the northern wall of the Durnhold Keep. Any rogues, hunters, or druids will definitely want to pay her a visit, as she sells some really nice agility and stamina gear. And with Durnhold being a semi-popular farming spot, it's just a quick and easy way to empty your bags without having to backtrack all the way to town.
That's actually it's a really good point. Like, honestly, one of the biggest things about this is the fact that you can just sell your shit to these mobs. Like, and that way you don't have to go all the way back to town. That's even better, in my opinion, than a lot of this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these items are really good too.
Heading even further east, though, for the Horde only, we have George Kendart. Again, just handy for offloading your vendor trash, but any leather workers out there will want to grab the green leather armor pattern. The armor itself is kind of crappy, but it's used as a reagent for the not crappy green iron halberd, so it still fetches
I
a
had
pretty
that.
penny
I
at the
had that
auction
back in
house,
vanilla WoW.
especially since he's rather
How do I
out of the
tell?
way, and not a
Little
lot of
old
people
ass
know about
gold.
him.
Walking
First
around with that
aid
chest
levelers
piece, dude,
will
I
also
felt
require
so
the
good.
assistance of super out-of-the-way vendors. Well, not so much for the Horde, as you just buy them from an NPC named Balai, who can be found in the questing hub, Brackenwell Village, in the Dustwalla Marsh. But for the Alliance, it's a little more out of the way. You need to head to the Stromgard Keep in the Arathi Highlands and find the NPC, Deneb Walker. When heading into the keep, just keep taking rights at every fork in the road, as you see here, and he'll be tucked away in this garden.
Oh, yeah.
He sells you the book to learn first aid up to 225, and also the recipes for the heavy silk and mageweave bandages.
Wow.
He also sells a bunch of reagents,
Holy
some low-level potions
shit.
considering the zone, and also
It's
some
so crazy to-
scrolls. One of the more important
I haven't
vendors
thought
in
about
the
this
game
stuff
for
in
sure.
years.
And next,
That's
we
what's
have
so
a
cool
couple
about
more
it to me.
Alliance only. Located right here in the middle of nowhere in the wetlands, you'll find a couple. Frad Swiftgear, who sells a couple of engineer patterns, the minor recombobulator, and the lovingly crafted boomstick, as well as other engineer supplies. The Gerald
I think
Carnavon
buying
is used for
potions while you're
questing the
leveling is probably the
Badlands,
biggest
so this
thing.
has some resale
At least to me it
potential.
is.
But heading inside the nearby house, you'll find Wenna Silkbeard.
Actual
She's
world
sort of the
content.
equivalent
Can you believe
of
that?
George Kendart for the Alliance. She also sells the green leather armor pattern for leather workers, as well as the red whelp gloves. You can also buy the azure silk gloves for tailors, some nice leveling gloves for mages here,
I guess so.
and you also have a bunch of armor. Some of them are good, some of them are crappy. Just pause the video if you need to hear. These
Shit.
shoulders are rather nice, since green ones are quite rare at level 25, and with strength and stamina no less.
Oh,
I
wow.
wonder what Joe would have to say about these.
Whoa, what the fuck? Those are
If
really
she's out of
good.
stock though, no worries, because
Goddamn.
you do have a second chance. It's just in a trickier spot.
Yeah, those are really, really
on the
good.
northern edge of the zone
Sure.
is the elite-infested Dunwell Deer, and inside the inn to the left near the back of the compound, and going inside and looking behind the bar, you'll find the Dark Iron Entrepreneur.
I talked to this guy
Sells
the other day
some
on my
green
rogue.
items, including the same shoulder.
It's actually our
some
bedroom.
pants, and some decent one-handers, which may or may not be worth it for you. And even some heavy dynamite if you need some AoE damage on the fly.
That's good.
Heading on over to
I need to get my engineering leveled up. I still haven't done that.
The Super Seller 680 and
Where's
the
that?
Bender
I'm trying to
Crown
log in.
1000. These ones are kind of tricky because they're tiny.
She's over there playing The Witcher. I just got it to run on, let me
Periodic
pause this video here.
to the south.
Yep.
This little hub in the
She's over playing The Witcher. I just got it installed on her Linux PC. So, she's running a 970, so it's not amazing, it's debatable whether or not you want Hairworks on, but see, I can't get like a FPS counter on Linux that I can think of.
How may I help? Goodbye.
Ooh, 6,000 XP for that? Okay. I'm gonna go up here and see if there's any quests. Nice thing about Burning Crusade is that they actually appear on your map. Ignore the pop-in. The server is currently, by default, it's running an extended object visibility range. And it's a little buggy. I just went in and turned it down to default, like a normal World of Warcraft. But it would involve me having to restart the server, and I don't want to do that right now. You know what, actually, if I remember correctly, I did like all the quests here, because I was getting rep to buy a cat. So I don't think there's any more quests here for me.
What brings you here? Good luck.
She's playing the third one. Yeah, I have it running on my PC with the game, but I have Windows and the server on my NVMe SSD, and I have the game running off of a hard drive. Eventually here I'm gonna buy like a nice mini PC with a good amount of RAM and a decent CPU, and I'm gonna just have like a standalone server. It's just used for that. It's funny, you can tell like by his animation here that he's supposed to be riding a horse. Like his hands aren't even touching the cat. Oh, really? Why is it hard to buy a PC? They just too expensive right now, or? I know the PCs I saw at Best Buy were kind of overpriced. Like, once you built your own PC, you look at all the rebuilt ones and you're just like, oh, that's so overpriced.
Embedded streams shouldn't count as view counts. It is a false metric. It is borderline view botting. You can have your stream as a one pixelable, unviewable image on a wiki and still count everyone on the page as a viewer without them knowing. Why aren't streamers more angry about this? So this has been something that's been going on. Obviously, I think two of the best examples of this...
Is that a lot?
Let's see. I think New World Database does this. Let's go ahead and see if I can pull it up, and if they have one up right now. They might not have... Oh, yeah, they have one up right there. So you've got, obviously, this guy in the corner here, Baggins TV, who's basically view botting. Because, obviously, they put his stream on there, and then because you have the page open, it counts as you watching them. And, of course, the biggest offender is FXtra Life. I think this is a bad thing. I've made this very clear many times. Embedding is the same thing functionally as view botting. The fact that Twitch is not doing anything about this, and they allow blatant view botters to maintain a top position in the directory, is a joke. It's an insult to everybody else.
All right, let me do the math on
They're
that.
trying to earn and grow their platform and their presence online organically.
So effectively, $278 American.
And I don't know why. And the thing is, like, this is what's bad about it too, is that you don't get every embedded stream doesn't have ads, but some of them do, because sometimes I'll have an embedded stream and the ad will play and it will unmute it and it will play the fucking sound randomly. So what these people are doing is they're buying ads. And, sorry, these advertisers are buying ads, and then Twitch is serving these ads to somebody who's not watching the stream. Because the truth is, let me ask you a question, very simple question. If you were an advertiser, and you saw that your ad...
Oh wait, there's a forge here, isn't there?
This little box right here,
I'm gonna use that real quick.
with it muted, that's as small as possible, would you think that you're getting your money's worth for that ad? Would you think that Twitch is acting in good faith to give you your money's worth? Absolutely not. It's a joke. And the thing is with Twitch is that a lot of viewership and everything on Twitch is based off of directory position. So if you're high up on the directory, you're going to be discovered more, you're going to have more people find your stream. But the problem is that whenever you have view botters, and that's what these guys are. It's not borderline view botting, it is view botting. There is no functional difference between embedding your stream...
Oh, I don't want that. I want grindstone.
...to increase your viewer count and actually view botting. It is the functionally same thing. Twitch is allowing...
You mean like changing them to the new models? There might be a way to do that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've heard of a way to do that. I just haven't felt like doing it. The old models just have a charm to me that I just like them.
Top directory positions, to hold down legitimate and authentic streamers with real communities, and this is done to the detriment of the entire website. It's fraudulent towards the advertisers, and it hurts everybody on the platform.
So I need more
And they're selling ads
rough
against
grinding stones or more copper bars.
If you try to stream New World, nobody comes to you since Baggins is absorbing everyone with the view botting. Yes, and this is, and I want to go ahead and show this guy's comment, okay? Deus Ex Persona, this guy right here is he's a New World content creator. We've watched a couple of his videos before. So this is a person who's actually had experience with this, and this is what he says. If you try to stream New World, nobody comes to you since Baggins is absorbing everyone with the view botting. And this is exactly what happens, is that if you're at the top, all of the browse viewers automatically go to that.
You can actually add in your own custom weapons and items. There's videos of people making like models in like Blender or whatever and importing them into the game, and then giving them their own item slot and making stats and everything for them.
It's bad for the advertisers. It's bad for everyone. The only people it's good for are the people who are doing it. Now, if I could
Or you can get like a pre-made model probably.
Because it works. But
Or you can reuse a model for from the game, like an unused model maybe. There's probably some unused models because there's a lot of unused items.
No, I don't think it's a racket like everything else. That's not it. And,
Like here.
Part of the problem is that Twitter discovery.
I could probably pull one up right now.
Discovery, yes, you're absolutely right. But the argument that because Twitch discovery sucks cock, which means that some people can cheat and game the system, I think is silly. And if someone isn't on your page directly, they shouldn't be counted as engaged and a real viewer. Anyone who disagrees is a horse in the race, in my opinion. Absolutely, and I talked about this. We'll read a few comments about this, and then I want to move on to something else. Baggins is getting so embarrassed on a stream. Well, listen, I mean, if I was in his position, I'd be doing the exact same thing, okay? You can tell him that. But he is a view botter. He is, he is stealing a directory position that he doesn't deserve. And if it was up to me, this would not be possible. Now, I think he should keep doing it because it's in his best interest. Absolutely. But it's a bad system. And I think that any reasonable person that doesn't, have a vested interest in this can acknowledge that. Is it more views, more money for Twitch?
Let me find it here. It should be
that it's fake views, then it sheds skepticism on everything. That's it. It's good for Twitch to do, so it makes sense. They'll be fine with people getting rewarded, but it's good for Twitch to do. Here, somebody wrote a comment, and actually, I'll read my comment back to you. It's okay. When advertisers find out that they're serving ads to embedded streams where the users don't even see the ads being paid for, it will not be good for Twitch. Twitch knows about this issue and allows it to happen. Basically, fraud from advertiser POV. They are defrauding the advertisers. Baggins is watching now. If you want to let him explain. Let him explain why it's okay to do view botting? Sure. Hey, what's up, man?
Hello. Yo, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
How
It's
you
good
doing?
to talk.
Yeah, you too, man. I have to say, I almost feel bad for calling you out on anything because the truth is I love New World and you're one of the only guys that still streams it, so thank you for that.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I understand why people are angry, okay? And I also understand that this perpetuates a bad image of New World, right? Because New World, it's like people joke it's filled with bots, and then also joke that the Twitch category is also filled with bots as well. So it's like...
Feels good different.
Where is it?
It feels good different,
Yes,
man.
I understand.
Feels good different, but I'm like happy
Test
to
Fire
talk
Sword, how about that?
Because I agree. I think it is a bit of a problem, and it is gonna like come down on its head at some point in the future. Advertisers and stuff will catch on. But I'm like, I'm down to talk about this, man.
Yeah,
Any questions you got or whatever?
My concern really is with embedding a stream. Obviously, what would you say is the functional difference between?
Yeah, food's really expensive right now.
I guess because viewbotting is not like technically a real person. So here, and again, I know people are gonna get angry, but I do get people who come in. They're on the website.
This is a valid item ID.
And they come through and they're like, hey, dude, I saw your stream in the corner. And some people say, hey, dude, I saw your stream in the corner. That's really annoying. Can you stop doing that?
Yes.
But some people say, like, I appreciate what you were talking about. I've been looking for some New World information. You seem to know what you're actually talking about. So they come into the stream and they have a good time.
What do you think that the
whereas like a view bot
Let's try this one.
doesn't exist, right? They're not even like real in the first place.
What percentage of the people do you think that are watching your stream, or that are being broadcast, that your stream is being broadcast to on the New World database website? What percentage of those people are actively engaging in that stream?
It's probably like 30%, 30 to 40.
So you think that 30% of the people on the website are actively engaging with your stream at this exact moment?
Yeah, I would.
I don't know why it's not working. It usually lets me bring in any kind of items that I want. Like I can give myself Ashbringer.
You've got some exciting takes and stuff. I mean, I like listening to your top.
Yeah. So you think that 30%? I just want to make sure that we get this straight. You think that 30% of the people that are watching your stream on the New World database are
What
engaged
woman?
with it.
Yeah, I would say so.
to
So
beat the
we can
buddies.
do a number of different metrics to discover what the real
Tweet,
numbers
tweet,
for this are.
motherfucker.
Would you like to do
Yeah,
follower
for sure.
count, viewer count, average views, or chatters?
I think. I mean, I don't know what the correct answer is yet. If do you have one in mind? Do you?
Let's
like,
start
I
with
feel
let's
like.
start with follower count.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see here. Okay.
Okay, I know for a fact I can add
We'll
this
also
in.
look at chatters. I'm not sure really if we can find this or not. Against TV. Okay. And so you've gained 65 followers. So if you you've gained 65 followers.
Look at that bad boy.
4 hours with 6,000.
That's an unattainable sword that I can just re-add into the game anytime I want. I'll probably make it a boss drop.
There's a lot coming in right now, but I think maybe some of that to do with you.
Well, how about this one here? So this is a stream that you did on November 29th, and you had 7.9 thousand viewers, and you had 14 followers. And if you look at the... Go ahead.
I don't know. I gotta have to dispute that. That doesn't sound right, man.
Okay.
Like I gained 14 followers during.
I don't really. I've tried to get in other MMOs, like Aeon, Rift, a lot of those WoW clones back in the day, and I'm not a fan of that particular art style. I don't know why. I'm just weird, I guess.
Almost a 7-hour stream.
I just didn't like it.
Also, if you look at the viewer count and everything like that, there is no fluctuation of that viewer count really whatsoever. Like there's no big changes or ups or downs. I don't think that this is really reflected in nearly any other streamer's metrics, and this is somebody who, I own a company, I evaluate streamers for a living, and I've been streaming for 5 years or 7 years really now, and I don't think that this is reflective whatsoever of authentic user behavior. And I think that if you look at similar streams with the similar amount of viewer count and the amount of chat messages and things like that, is there a way for us to look at chat messages on Twitch? Because obviously we can do /chatters.
Oh, this is gonna lead to a dungeon, huh? All right, let's do that.
Bring it up in my analytics, I guess.
It's okay, I can do it. Let me see if I can find it.
Except I have to go all the way back there.
Just have to search for it. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure if you have it.
I do one quest at a time. I'm basically, every time I play like a new character, I'm going to level differently or play the game differently. Right now I'm doing the one quest at a time deal. I'm not power leveling by any stretch of the imagination.
There are actually quite a lot of chatters. I'm not sure if this is something from currently or not, but chatters seems like
Turn that shit off, woman.
So
yeah, I mean, I think right now you're definitely having an influence on that. I think it's fair to say.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I don't think so. So you think that again, and I'd actually like to ask you another question. Do you know who F Extra Life is?
I am very well. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
What do you know about them?
I don't get it.
Like my perception is that they are a group of streamers, and they have a Wikipedia, generally on a lot of different games.
I don't get it.
And the stream is embedded on the Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah,
I'm sorry.
I understand. I do know what this is coming from. I saw the tweet today, and I'm like, okay, right, this is it.
I'm streaming.
I'm the embed guy, I'm
No.
the bot guy.
Fine.
Put your hands are warm. Put them back.
But I understand where it comes
Put them
from.
back.
No.
Like,
They're warm.
I don't care.
Cold.
Of what people are saying that is
What?
inaccurate. What part of what people are saying is inaccurate?
Don't take it from me. I just
Yeah, because this is like, we've been put on blast.
That's what happens. So do you think that what F Extra Life is
We'll go bye-bye again later, okay?
for Twitch?
I mean, I would say...
Here, take the dog back.
Obviously, I'm going to take the stance of, like, trying to be defensive here.
Of course you
are.
Oh, you need to go? Well, thanks for stopping by, Ren.
Make one thing very clear. I don't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I would do the exact same thing that you were doing. I would do it. I would ride this horse until it's
I do my best.
Okay? So I'm not criticizing you as a person.
I'm still waking up, so I might not be as talkative as I was after a couple beers, but I'm doing my best.
I'm not criticizing you, but I am saying that this is not good for the website.
No, I'm sorry, man. That's good. Oh,
So
man.
what do you think
So,
of Extra
like,
Life? Do you feel like that do you feel like what they're doing is good for Twitch?
I mean, probably not. No, because I think like at the end of the day, what should
Chance,
happen?
assume
Like
your
Twitch
position.
is it's a views competition.
Mhm.
Right? Basically, you get views and then you get more views because you're the top of the
If you
category.
feel that's
And
too
then
laggy at all, let me know.
Organically, but obviously it's you experience.
But
it
you're maxed out
consistently.
except for hair anti-aliasing, and that's pretty much what I played with when I had a
I would
970.
imagine. I don't know if you, like you
I
can.
just feel like
you can
it's
talk
kind
to
of
people at
wasteful
Twitch, but
because
for
like
them,
it just looks
that is
really
like
gritty.
more flexing power that they have. Like we have this number of people watching our website every month. So would Twitch even like step in to do anything about this? Like, or is it even necessarily bad for Twitch? I mean, obviously it is from like the advertising standpoint, and when it gets found out, there's gonna be like some blowback from it.
So then it would be
But
bad
currently,
for
right
them.
now. Yeah, I guess so, but like
You can never have enough
Do you not
dogs.
think Twitch is complicit with this, and they're aware of it?
We just live in an apartment, so we can only really have the one. And she actually uses training pads to go to the bathroom on. So we still take her for walks every now and again. It's kind of hard right now because it's so cold out, and my work schedule's brutal.
And ask yourself the question that if I was advertising on Twitch and I found out that my ads were being played by a 1-inch by 2-inch screen on the corner of a screen that is automatically muted to people that are not even looking
just
at
filling
it,
my underwear
would
with
I
a
want
bunch
to
of
continue
birds.
my contract with that person in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's there's gonna be like the adpocalypse of YouTube all over again, but for Twitch. I mean, obviously we had that with like DMCA and stuff as well, but
I think that it's probably not going to be that influential because the truth is this is a high visibility problem with a very low actual impact. It's really you, F Extra Life. I think New World Order Show does it as well, and like a handful of other people. I heard Fingrush also does it. I don't know about that, so don't quote me on it. But I mean, it's a high visibility problem, but there are really not that many people doing it. I don't think this is going to cause an adpocalypse situation, but I think that it is, you're absolutely right, that Twitch does probably know about this issue, and them allowing it to exist, in my opinion, is being complicit in effectively defrauding them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
Okay.
whether you
Order of the Order of Naga's
I think it's fair
Bike
that they should get what they pay for.
Yeah, no, I do agree.
And
I do agree.
do you think that
what I will say?
Okay.
Sorry, no, let's continue before we.
Do you think that
before I, like,
advertisers are getting their money's worth whenever their ads are being played to your stream? On
No.
New World, no, they're not. Okay.
Shit.
But I would also say that most of the time, like let's be honest, every time you see a video for like pretty much anything out there, NordVPN or whatever,
Yeah.
and for any pre-roll, how much like does that the engagement or anything like I you know I know you're very respectful and you watch when you're watching content you watch the streamer watch the ads or whatever, but like some people, you know, they just skip straight past that. They're watching they're doing the react content, they just skip the ad completely for their audience. So is that problematic? You know, and all of it, it's
Well, the
completely
reason
different from
why,
embedding,
so
but
the reason why it's different, and I understand what your point is, but the reason why it's different is that the advertiser is entering into that contract with that content creator, knowing that it is the case that these things are happening and that these things can happen. So both parties go in and enter that contract and enter that decision with equal amounts of knowledge of the way that the ads are displayed. So that's why it's different.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, man. I mean,
So
I will not dispute that you know, be in the position you're in with.
Okay.
Oh boy, do we have a controversial video today. I'm gonna talk about BFA. Wait, this is controversial now?
I don't
Well,
know
damn.
about that.
I look away for 1 second and the sky starts falling.
Literally.
Did you guys know that Blizzard is awful, the game sucks, and if you like it, you're a mindless fake fanboy shill, and not a true OG gamer? And at the same time, those people are just whiners.
Big true.
They should just quit, and how dare they be critical of the game.
That's right.
Streamers are angry, YouTubers are angry, the players are angry, everyone's angry. It's one of those old MTV reality TV shows where everyone's screaming at each other and pulling out each other's...
Yo, I love this fight. This is one of my favorite fights on the whole internet. This dude is just sitting there ordering Taco Bell. Everything else in the world is going along as planned. And you have those two girls in the background just beating the shit out of each other, wrestling around on the pavement. And everybody else just walks by like it's not even happening.
Weeds.
I think original chicken.
Look at that drink, dude.
As for myself, my spirit animal is the guy in the background eating Taco Bell, watching it all transpire.
Okay.
I haven't really
I like
shared
that.
my opinion yet, because I think these videos are all over the place, and I just had other things I wanted to do. But people have asked here and there about my thoughts on BFA, so I think it's time. And just to throw this out there, this is all just my opinion, and if you disagree with what's said in this video, that's fine.
Then fuck you. Then you're wrong.
I'm not trying to sway anyone in any direction. I'm just sharing my honest thoughts and impressions of the expansion so far. This isn't coming from someone who plays 14 hours a day and complains
What
that
a
there's
nerd,
nothing to
dude.
do, nor from someone who plays once a week and
He
has
doesn't even
no
play
idea what's
14
going
hours
on.
a day.
I've always considered myself the pretty average everyday player in this game, aside from the
Trimming plots, right? Yeah.
Too much.
The
These
good days.
I play every other day, and rating-wise, the most I'll do is heroic. Expanding on that though, I definitely haven't played BFA as much as I did Legion. In Legion, I was online pretty much every day, and grinding mythics left and right,
Good.
leveling new alts, and much more active in raiding and so on. I think that's because A, I really loved Legion. After the disaster that was Draenor, I thought it really revitalized the game, and it brought so many new features to the table. I like the story, most of the raids, the dungeons, the artifacts, pretty much everything about it.
Okay.
BFA, however, I've had less playtime in, I think simply due to its new main features, which are Warfronts, Expeditions, and Azerite armor, just haven't felt as fun to me compared to what Legion brought to the table. I don't...
Warfronts, Azerite armor, and Irons. You know what really disappoints me about all of this? Like, I think islands have really big potential. And I think Warfronts have even bigger potential.
Bitch.
Azerite armor, I think, also has potential. Like, these things do have really big potential. Like, I hope that he talks about this in a video. It's not necessarily the features itself, but the implementation of the features that's the problem.
I think BFA as a whole is terrible or unfun. I still have fun running mythics, and I think the raids are great so far, and I've actually delved into PvP a bit this expansion, which is something I've neglected since Cataclysm. Overall, so far I'd say it's an average expansion, but therein lies the problem. World of Warcraft is the first thing that comes to mind when someone says MMO. We hold the game to the incredible standards that we know Blizzard is capable of, yet it's received a lukewarm reception at best because it's very average.
I would argue that BFA is not average. I think it's vastly below average in a lot of ways, right? Like all the new features are boring, right? I mean, basically, like, here's why I think all the features are boring, is because the outcome of the game is predetermined. You already know what's going to happen. So, like, as a Warfront, here's something I want to do on stream, okay? And I want to do this as a stream event where we go and we do this all together. I want to make a pre-made Warfront and have everybody queue up at the same time, and I want to try to intentionally lose the Warfront. I want to see if it's possible to lose a Warfront. Like, we're all going to get together and do, you know what, maybe we can do it after this. I don't know, like, I think it'd be fucking hilarious. You can lose. I want to see it happen. I really do. It's gonna be like witnessing a unicorn.
Alrighty then.
Like, very few people see them. It happens, but it's very uncommon.
I might be able to do that.
So that's the too long didn't watch of it. I do want to go into more detail though, and explain exactly why I feel this way. And the main way I want to express that is just by going over those major features one by one. What does this expansion bring to the table that's different from the others? And after that, we'll just talk about it as an MMORPG as a whole. This video was made in April of 2019, so about 8 months into the expansion, just after 8.1.5, so this is before the upcoming Crucible of Storms.
It's crazy to think the expansion's been out for 8 months. 8
so
fucking
I think
months.
one of the main problems that everyone has right now is that it simply boils down to it's very similar to Legion gameplay-wise. What you grind, how you grind, your daily itinerary, it's all very reminiscent of the Legion expansion, and the new features I just mentioned have fallen short in a lot of ways. To really get my point across here, I think it's appropriate to draw comparisons to Legion since it's the direct previous expansion. As I said, I loved it.
Remember the Court of Stars?
Introduced Mythic Plus.
That was
and
good.
brought 5-man content to the end game challenge-wise. World quests are a much better alternative to that old daily quest hub system.
Yo, that shit was so good back in Legion. Like, you would go over to a world quest, and you'd fucking grab all the mobs, AoE them down, and you're done. It was so, like, being able to complete a world quest in one cast felt so fucking good. Or one pull, I loved it. Like, I remember the Stormlanders world quests were the best to do. I enjoyed them so much.
They had, the zones were good. I personally liked artifact weapons because they gave you another form of character progression and a long-term goal to work towards.
Hardly.
Like I said,
maybe at the beginning of the expansion.
And most of the raids were great, and the dungeons
the artifact knowledge just ruined it.
To play.
They shouldn't have had artifact knowledge.
Although they had their
they should have just made
it
account wide.
Entertainment, I thought that their various unique perks that they gave added depth to the classes. There were so many great new features that they turned the game into a huge improvement.
Fucking yeah, there's a mage tower. I loved it.
Here comes BFA though. With all of those huge new features from Legion, what great heights will this one take us to? With artifacts disappearing, we have the new Azerite system. Now, there are differences. You don't get every trait, rather you have to choose just one at each tier.
I like that.
You also have 3 pieces of armor that you can interchange instead of being stuck with just your weapon, with each armor having different combinations of traits.
I want to say that I think that by the end of BFA, Azerite armor is actually going to be good. And then they'll delete it.
Traits for each of your specs. But even with this, at the end of the day, it boils down to you collect artifact power to level up your amulet, which in turn lets you pick more traits for your gear, which is what we had in Legion.
Amazing.
It's not the exact same system, but it is very similar, just dressed up a bit different, which a lot of people don't like, I think. Personally, that itself doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either.
What I don't like about Azerite armor
Wait,
is that...
what the fuck? Why does he have... That water there is from Burning Crusade, isn't it? Like, am I wrong there, or is there, like, a new model? No, it's not? Okay, well, it looks exactly the same.
Bother me. What I don't like about Azerite armor...
Sorry, I never lose mana.
See, the problem is I have to... Like, how would you know where this is?
At BlizzCon 2017, they were hyped up to be these game-changing traits similar to talents, where they heavily alter your playstyle.
Some do.
Each piece of
Some
armor
do.
in a handful of slots that we select, we currently have 3 in mind, will offer a potential for customization and choice in a handcrafted way. These are not random traits, unlike the Nether like Crucible. A helm is a helm is a helm, and you can pick what you want to suit your playstyle, to suit your needs as you progress through the world.
So, maybe if you have this trait, you can stand in the fire a bit longer and heal the tank, or maybe this one makes you more mobile. But what we got were basically a bunch of inconsequential passives. Increase of secondary stat for 10 seconds on this proc, chance to proc a bleed, chance to proc a heal.
Secondaries, those are
and
beautiful.
Yes, even just straight up stat increases if you can actually believe that.
Amazing.
You might find a power that makes you think twice about using a talent that you'd previously written off.
No.
And you will certainly find combinations that reinforce your favorite way to play your character.
Okay.
It all boils down to the problem that they've been having for 14 years back with the old talent tree. there's no real choice.
There's cookie cutters,
They'll
yeah.
always be best.
Yeah.
And that's the case with these traits. They're so inconsequential that they really just boil down to another number. Like, oh snap, I procced Blightborn Infusion, guys. What am I gonna do?
Let me give you an example of something that is not like that. That I can tell that Blizzard is actually trying to improve this. So there's a trait here for Fury Warriors. It's called Cold Steel Hot Blood. Now, if you have this trait, I don't know if you guys can see it all the way, but like basically it makes your Bloodthirst crits deal a lot of damage with like a bleed. If you have this trait, like 3x, you won't have crit on all your gear. So there actually is an example of Blizzard having Azerite armor change your playstyle and the way that you play your character, which is amazing. Like this is what we've all been waiting for and all wanted. So it's absolutely possible, and there's an example of it happening. One trait? Well, it's a good fucking start. Okay? It's a good start.
Since it's just another one of the dozens of proc-based stat increases. Again, for the most part, there are a few here and there that do actually change what you do. They're extremely limited though. In fact, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is the Seductive Power trait, where you have to run to Bwamsamdi's Spirit to get a stacking buff. Although it is minor, this actually has some consequence with your gameplay. But again, it's so few and far between that your decision 99%
really
of
cool.
the time
I like that.
is based off of the highest number in a spreadsheet. The scenario is, which one is higher?
Started 8 months in.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'll pick that one, rather than what it should be and what was promised, and that's which one is more fun or better fits my playstyle. And another issue
If it's more
is in
fun, you'll
regards
play the
to
game
what they're
longer.
replacing.
So the longer it takes you, the more
Artifacts
fun it
were
is.
hugely impactful in Legion, game-changing in fact. In the beginning of Legion, as you may remember, we had a huge pruning of abilities. Skills or passives that were deemed unfit for class fantasy were removed, or just restricted to one specialization of the class, leaving things much more simple in comparison to Draenor. With the introduction of artifacts though, a lot of these gaps were filled with new traits, passives, and even abilities that made the class feel more whole.
I'll agree with that.
However, as I mentioned, we lost artifacts in BFA, and they're basically replaced with Azerite armor. Some, not all, of the old abilities were instead thrown into the talent tree as an option against existing talents.
Some of them,
but everything
not all.
else, gone.
Rip Odin's
For the
Fury.
most part. There are some exceptions, but overall, our net gain from Draenor to BFA is negative. So, you have this big void left, and the system that was supposed to fill it in has fallen short in many people's eyes. A problem made worse with the fact that there are no tier sets in BFA because of Azerite armor. Just another casualty of the system, as stated by Ian Hazakostas in a November 2017 interview. Tier sets of course need the head, shoulders, and chest, but since those slots are filled by Azerite armor, they just decided to do away with them, citing that people would get their customization through the Azerite armor. The last...
That's what I think they should do. They could just add new equipment slots. Like they need a class-specific equipment slot. So like warriors could have like a drinking horn, or like I don't know, like a sheath for their weapon. Paladins could have a Librum again. DKs have their sigils back. Mages have you know, like a spell book, and like these different things like you can empower, and that way like it won't cannibalize the current current game. And they can just remove them without necessarily having to replace them if it doesn't work out in the next expansion. Okay, I don't know why. Hunters get their either their staves or a quiver. Demon hunters gets like a, I don't know, like a chaos stone or something like that. I don't know, it's just like a random, like a soul stone. Demon hunters get a soul stone. The warlocks will get a fire stone or a spell stone depending on like what spec they are. Let's see, rogues get poison vials. Hunters, druids would get, I don't know, like maybe you'd have like a squirrel. Yeah, druids would have a squirrel that would just like follow them around and like empower their abilities. Let's see, or you just give them a stick. Her leaves, just like throw leaves at them. That's always a good idea. Let's see, what are the other classes? Monks? Who cares? Just delete those next expansion, get that out of the way. Let's see, druids. Yeah, they get a beer. That's perfect. What other good ideas would there be? Monks, druids, paladins, warriors, DKs, priests. Oh, priests. They'd have a. I'd make that joke, but it is Easter, so you know, we'll skip it. Either way, I just wish shamans have totems, obviously. Yeah, good one, Emery. Good one. So anyway, that's what they should do. Just make a new equipment slot. Make multiple equipment slots. Make characters, like, give them more depth. More things to collect.
To filling the void left behind the removal of artifacts, gone. And not only that, but also the Legion legendaries, and are missing level 120 talent row.
Yeah,
artifacts,
missing is
tier
right.
Sets, legendary affixes,
Yep.
new talents. Players have lost so much since Legion, and they've been replaced by increase your mastery and leech. Even if it was perfectly designed, one system can't possibly emulate the customization, depth, and impact of 4. And to add on to that, to start off, a lot of the good traits weren't even the class-specific ones. In general, I hate traits that are shared between the classes. Although it had its own flaws, I could see where they were coming from with the class fantasy revolution during
I don't mind them that
Make
much.
the classes and specializations
I can
stand
see
out
why he
from
says
each
that,
other.
though.
Not just for the sake of making alts more interesting, but just for the sake of having something that no one else but your spec has. We have a whole ring that's dedicated to these generic traits for every single spec. Again, for how big of a deal.
I'm gonna pause this real quick. Asmund doesn't raid, doesn't do Mythic Plus, doesn't even play WoW. What is important? Why is his opinion important again? Let me show you why. I played this game 1,000 days. I probably have cutting edge on more raids than you've even been into. I think the bigger question is, why don't I do those things anymore? Like, would you be happy if I went and I just got a plus 15 done for every mythic dungeon? Would that magically give me you know, the ability to criticize them? If I did a plus 20 at every dungeon, like, do you want me to do that? Like, is I can just go do like an 18 or something of every dungeon. It'd be no big deal. Like, and then would that magically like make my opinion better? I don't think so. You know what? You know what? Maybe we'll do that. Why don't I get a plus 15 of every dungeon completed? I'll challenge myself to that. I'll tank it myself. And that way there's going to be no like possibility of me getting carried through with like DPS. Of course I'm getting carried through with Thunderclap. But hey, that's close enough. I'll do a plus 15 of every dungeon. And if I enjoy it and I have fun, maybe we'll move it up to like plus 20. You happy? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I'll do that instead. Yeah, it's gonna be no big deal. Deplete, oh god? No, I'm not gonna deplete anything, dude. What happened to 20, 18, and 15? Well, I'm just throwing out numbers, right? Like, the idea would be I'd probably do 15s first, and then if that went well, and people, you know, were like, damn, that's actually really cool, and, you know, whatever, and I enjoyed it, then maybe I'd move it up to 18s or 20s. And I said like 18s because I don't want to do a 20 shrine. that's basically why I said 18s. Okay, let me keep going into the video.
Feel that they made about class fantasy and Legion, this really doesn't make sense to me. And speaking of this, expanding more in tier sets here, to a lot of people, these are the holy grail of raiding in World of Warcraft. One of the huge reasons that people raid to begin with is for the tier sets, to have something to complete and to get those cool set bonuses to make their class more interesting or powerful. They're what separates Mythic Plus from raiding now, since you can get pretty comparable eye levels from both. Especially if you don't count Mythic raiding, since I think like 2% of the population actually does that. And
that's
even
a lot.
more so, because Mythic Pluses are spammable.
Yeah,
and
why
with
would
the
you ever
advent of
Mythic
Titan
raid?
Forging, you really cannot
Besides for
get
the mount.
raids. Even Mythic raids, if you do enough. It's grindy, yeah, but it's possible. Like I said, I think Mythic Pluses are great for the game, but in my opinion, raiding should always be the mainstay primary endgame for any MMO. And with no tier sets, that line between raids and Mythic Plus becomes even more blurred. And that's not even
raiding should give the best gear, period.
Another reason why
no way to get
want
better
tier
gear than
sets
raiding, but
is
except for
the
raiding.
looks or
Maybe
for
like gladiator
collection's
level
sake.
arena.
And now we're left with this awkward system of sharing these quote sets of the same armor type. Every leatherware looks the same.
I don't like not feeling like I have to raid.
Looks the same, and so on. Gee, for how big a deal they made about class fantasy during Legion with all of the pruning, this sure seems contradictory, doesn't it? Raise your hands. How many of you have actually seen the full Uldir or Dazzler lore sets on people? Everyone I know transmogs out of them, not because they're objectively ugly, but rather because they're simply shared across every armor type.
They're really nice.
So
I mean, a
no
lot of the new
unique.
sets are really nice.
Or rather, they don't match their class.
Yeah.
Like, how does this look like a rogue? Or this a hunter? Some
Wait,
people
what?
say that looks don't matter, but if that's the case, how about
looks don't matter? What a fucking lie about that. Like, I mean, you see this guy, Virosh the Hordebreaker in the city where he's wearing his fucking Antor's normal mode boots, shoulders, helmet, gloves, and chest piece there, and he's too fucking shitty to get the belt, so he's using the one from Heroic Il'gynoth and Emerald Nightmare. This guy looks like a fucking clown. Nobody's gonna want to play with him. All you have to do is look at him and you know he's an idiot, and he's got the Hordebreaker title on like it's 2013. It's just pathetic.
we just have one armor set so everyone looks the same? How about we're all just gray blobs with no distinguishable features? Why have separate classes? We should all just look the same and just have one ability. I'm obviously joking here, but you have to.
Denver's defense so far.
Saying there is value in straightforwardness, but sometimes I think they just take it way too far. Especially in an MMO setting where the whole genre is about that complexity and character progression. Change is inevitable. You can't reasonably expect a game to never evolve, but in my opinion, in certain aspects, it's done so in a destructive way. Evolution should be constructive, with more features and depth added, not taken away. I think the game has done a great job with this in areas like dungeons and raids. Huge improvements over the years. And when people trash BFA, they conveniently seem to never talk about these new raids and boss fights, which I think are well done.
Nobody cares.
Gone are the days of having 5 different salamander boss fights that are all slightly different from each other.
Yeah, if you combine all of the salamanders together, they make one trash mob from BFA in terms of mechanics. I mean, yes, obviously the boss fights back then were really bad. And I think that's really an interesting way to look at it, right? Is like, why do people have such fond memories of Molten Core? Basically a raid full of target dummies. And you can have Battle of the Tsar lore, which is a very, very well-crafted, great raid, and people still complain about it and don't care. I mean, like, think about like why that is.
The latest one, as of this video, is the Battle of Dazzler lore, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
the
raids
fights
are great.
So fun and unique, and it might be my favorite raid in the entire game. And for someone who's played since 2005, that's saying a whole hell of a lot. But where they have an A+ in the raiding scene and dungeons, there has been some definite regression in a lot of the details, such as the lack of tier sets, or no new talents like I mentioned earlier. It feels like we're losing the RPG in MMORPG. It would be
already lost the MMO
to
too.
remove tier sets from the games, say during the Wrath of the Lich King or Burning Crusade or whatever. But in today's climate, it's more acceptable since it's just another one of the many things that they've slowly whittled away. It's the little things that matter, and they all build on each other, and when you start slowly taking them out expansion by expansion, you start seeing the effect. Tier sets are just one of many victims, and it's all for the sake of a system that's been less than impressive from a design standpoint, from a character progression standpoint, and even from just a raw gameplay standpoint. And
what
that's
a
not
trait.
even the end of it. They're still rebalancing these traits all the time,
Thankfully,
which is
very
you're never
good.
going to get perfect balance like I mentioned, but the bigger issue is that it creates situations like this. Since they changed these traits so much, everyone hangs on to like 50 Azurite pieces, and each patch we go through them to see what's good and what's bad this week.
Look at mine.
Sometimes, even if a piece is 30 eye levels under another piece, it's still better because it just has better traits in general, which should never be the case. So, those are my general thoughts on Azerite armor as a whole, I think.
I want to talk about Warfronts.
I want this video to be constructive.
I really hope he talks about Warfronts.
Credit where credit is due. They have been addressing the Azerite armor. They added another ring that has the class traits in their pool.
They're doing better.
Which gives a bit more added depth, and just having another layer is nice in general.
Yeah.
And they've also removed a lot of the boring or useless ones, and they even added a currency where you can buy specific pieces from any Mythic Plus dungeon.
Tears coming back next expansion?
They've also said
I hope
that they're looking to make substantial changes to the system as a whole in patch 8.2. As of this video, there's not a lot of detail, but they hinted that they're moving a lot of the power to the amulet itself, possibly bringing in active abilities, and overall making them more similar to the Legion artifacts.
Let me ask you guys something. For those of you all that have played on PTR, like, how are the new changes to Heart of Azeroth? Because I haven't had a chance to do them. I want to do them on stream, but I've just been like doing other stuff instead. Meh, boring, good, pretty good, better. Okay, well, you know what? If it's my stream, and like my audience is probably like pretty critical to WoW, and if I'm getting like mostly people that are saying that it's either good or like unbalanced or whatever, like that means they're pretty good. Yeah, I mean that's fine.
That's true, and we have something substantial as active abilities. We'll finally have something closer to what was promised.
Really good for rating standpoint.
But please, Blizzard, I'm begging you, make these abilities spec-specific. A new poison for assassination rogues.
Ooh.
Maybe a new demon for warlocks.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It'll be hard to balance, but
yeah, that
after
would be
losing
really fucking
artifacts
cool.
and tier sets, class identity is
Holy
something
shit,
that's
I never
regressed
even
so
thought
much,
of that.
and this is your opportunity to address it.
Yeah.
If it's a generic one spell fits all classes type of deal, I think it'll be following down the same path that led you to all of these problems to begin with. So I'm hoping that all of these changes will be good, but like I said earlier, when you're trying to force one system to replace 4, it's an uphill battle to say the least.
It was way too much.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Island. Oh! This is the exciting part.
But next, let's talk about another big
yeah, this is really exciting.
And those are the island expeditions.
Okay, here we go.
I think these could also use some work. There are some good aspects to them. The advanced AI is really well done, I think, and they're role agnostic, as they should be, so they're easy to just hop in and do.
Okay.
Right now, the biggest problem is that the main thing they're banking on, which is its different experience each time, isn't really true. I mean, it's technically true. Technically, there are different mobs or chest placements each time,
it's the same
or
outcome.
different quests, or an opposing team, and so on. But at the end of the day, they boil down to this: rush to get X amount of Azerite before.
Here's how they can make islands better. Remove PvE islands. Just take them out of the game. Just remove them.
It's too far away.
Only PvP islands. Quadruple the rewards. And I think that islands would actually be better. Give them an actual, like, a progression system. That's what I think. You guys might disagree with me. That's what I think they should do. PvE users would cry. They're already crying.
But the enemy team does.
What if you don't want to do PvP islands, though? Do you want to do PvE islands?
You never really can stop to look around or notice any of the changes because you're just constantly rushing to go get Azerite. Even the different maps, because there's really no difference between them. A problem made by the randomness itself. Let me explain. Now, some islands do have set enemies here and there, but a lot of them, such as the rares or invasions, are from a larger pool that are selected randomly. If 90% of the expeditions are random, what's the real difference between the maps? It's all just topography and aesthetics.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
Here instead of there, or maybe this ruin is at that location.
This would matter in PvP. It would make a big difference in PvP.
Are on these tropical islands. I know they're called island expeditions, but one of the downsides is that there's not much variety in the setting. Yeah, there are certain spots where there's fire in the molten K or the foggy rotting mire, but these islands are varied enough themselves that they just sort of blend in together.
You're just beating
Like,
bots
there's
that are
no real
programmed to
fire map
lose.
that's brimming with fire elementals,
Sounds
or
exciting.
lava spewing everywhere, or flame walls that you have to dodge.
That'd be pretty cool.
We have an island with some fire, an island with some snow, and an island with some buildings, and so on. I think if the maps had more of an identity, you could maybe say that you get more variety between expeditions. Like, imagine if Mythic Plus Dungeons had a random assortment of enemies, random trash mobs, and in every boss room is a random boss from any of the 10 dungeons in BFA. Take that, instead of each of these dungeons having these unique settings, just make them all take place on tropical islands. What's there to make you say that, oh neat, a freehold key, that's my favorite one? Or, ugh, Shrine of the Storm? Forget that.
True.
If instead, these ultra-random mishmashes, they wouldn't truly have anything that sets them apart from each other. When have you ever done an island expedition and you went, oh yeah, the Molten K baby, my favorite, yes.
I actually do really like the snow one because you can aggro all the mobs and like pull them down to the bottom and like AoE them all down and do like the whole expedition in one pull. So like that's kind of true and kind of not true. So like yeah, there's a few of them that I do like, but also like having like the gear and everything that was like tied to the different islands and like, oh well, you can only get this type of like mount from like this island because it has like these mobs that are there naturally. I thought that made it more interesting. Also, like I don't know, I just think like their entire I really think the only way they can make islands good content is if they remove the PvE component to them. Like, or they remove PvE version islands, like to where you no longer play against bots. Like, just like no bots at all.
What's wrong with bots, huh?
PvP islands.
In my opinion, it results in them being kind of dull, because once you've done one island...
This graveyard sucks.
You've pretty much done them all.
Yep.
I think if we maybe had something to anchor all of these islands to something identifiable,
do something else.
It would make for a more memorable experience.
What if you don't want to do
like, say,
PvE
the ice
islands?
level has all ice enemies, and not only that, but there are also these flash blizzards that give you a stacking debuff.
I think Blizzard makes a mistake by always answering, but what if you don't want to do this? And then they have some other sort of alternative.
I think I'm just gonna abandon this quest.
In their own like super specific niche, and then people become so far disconnected from each other that nobody interacts with anything, and you need to create
Go back to Ironforge.
game modes that are all self-serving and self-perpetuating in order to make everybody and like all these tiny little micro interest groups in the game happy. And then any decision that you make makes 7 groups mad and 1 group happy, so you're just rotating who gets mad and who gets happy. Like it just, like you should have to play the entire fucking game. PvP is part of the game. I don't think that like you should be forced into PvP, but the idea that PvP should have some form of like unique power progression and unique power that you get out of it is completely, I completely believe in that. I think that in Burning Crusade and Vanilla they had that, and it was a great system. I'd like to see even more PvP stuff be added into the core game and people expecting to play PvP. I think that makes the game better. Even at the beginning of Legion, BFA for example, there was so much more PvP action. PvP was more lucrative in terms of gear. That's better for the game, I feel.
That you have to get rid of by taking cover in the cave and kill less lucrative enemies inside, or you can risk it by finding materials to build a campfire that gives you a buff that lets you weather the storm for a bit. This would
has
set
it
apart
called
from
you
the
yet?
others, and
Nope.
at the same time, fix that problem of not really having any strategy other than rush. Maybe for the city map, the quirk is pickpockets will constantly spawn trying to steal your Azurite. They don't attack you, they just wait until you're in combat or something, and they stealth up and steal 100 or so Azurite and start running away. If you don't kill them within 10 seconds, they vanish along with that Azurite.
Oh, like treasure goblins.
Make each map a unique and memorable experience like this.
Okay.
To where if you get it in the queue, you're like, oh cool,
Okay.
it's this one.
Okay.
As for the reward structure, at first it was pretty
She's
cool.
just gonna bark.
You either got doubloons, sometimes a pet, and sometimes nothing.
And never
just
a
some
mount.
Azurite, which you can get from
Hey, woman.
any other activity in the game.
Can you bring me my
The
chips?
rewards are the same, but they did add a vendor where you spend those doubloons for some goodies, finally adding some structure to the reward system and giving players long-term goals to work towards.
About
instead of
damn
rolling
time.
the dice every run and praying to the RNG gods. And in regards to the balance and pace, To try and make people deviate from the rush strategy, they have extraction points for you to defend, so there's actually a benefit in slowing down every once in a while and giving players decisions of attacking or defending. They also have the new treasure map system. If you fill up your weekly bar,
yeah,
you get a
I
treasure
like this
map,
a lot.
which unlocks a bonus table mission that can have azurite, amount, residuum, gold, and so on.
Wait, what the fuck? You can get treasure maps for the mounts? Is that true?
Woman? Give me my chips. Thank you.
Where are they? Are they, is it like a 10%?
She's
like
like, I
20%?
didn't do
Like, what is it?
Big chip.
Maybe it's just a waste of time. I should just keep running the dungeons on our own. Oh my god, dude.
Chosen at random.
I didn't even know that.
An improvement, but at the end of the day, it's just another random reward. Everything is so random these days. PvP gear, Titan forging, caches. What happened to this? I thought this was alright. Some randomness is good.
Me too.
Replayability, but if your whole game is based off of caches and Titan forging, it tends to get a bit too grindy and frustrating if the RNG gods happen to have it out for you. Equipment.
If he doesn't call you by name, he's not planning on giving you your vehicle back.
And I think they would benefit greatly
What?
from introducing.
I said if he doesn't call you by noon, he's not gonna plan to give you your car back until end of day.
What? A
But
badge
off topic
system?
here, island expeditions.
What's
Like I
that?
said, they're not bad. They're just not great either. At least in my opinion.
Oh my god!
I think if they
You
made them
already know,
unique
Dad.
and added more structure to the reward system,
You wanna?
more people would run them. Moving on here though, another big feature are the war fronts. Now, the actual gameplay of war fronts isn't bad in my opinion. You collect resources, recruit troops, take capture points, and take down the enemy commander in a battle that's reminiscent of the old RTS games that we all know and love.
Damn right.
Gameplay-wise, they're alright. My issue with them is the fact that you can't lose them, because what happens then is it just becomes a mindless zerg, where if you do bad
Yeah, dude, it's uncooked from mod. That's what I thought. You don't watch the door gag.
Oh, I thought.
Get raped.
Whoa, that was retarded.
There's a guy.
Oh, that's sound like this. And the reason why. Okay. Then I come to your house and I steal your teeth. I'm a real boy now.
Am I there yet? Yep. Okay. Time to do the thing at the place. Oh, you're not in the guild. I'm gonna invite you though. Oh, you're not in a guild either.
See you soon.
Alright, do that one. Playing with one hand is difficult. Unless you're playing with yourself. I need to assemble a dungeon group here.
Two-headed horse in here.
There's a two-headed horse and where?
This house that you can't get into.
Oh yeah? Maybe it's an Easter egg or something.
Oh,
Oh, awesome. He's a healer. Okay, now I just need DPS. This guy was Shadow Priest, so I'll light him. Got a rogue.
They can't join our group.
Well, get the fuck out of your group, bro. And we'll go ahead and go with this, we'll go with the hunter. And we're gonna go ahead and put a tag on this guy. Oh shit, did I miss it? Oh no, it's right here. Duh.
I'm a farmer.
Wrong place at the wrong time, mister. What the hell is he getting attacked by? He's right there. Oh, these aren't elites in BC. I guess I can hit up these iron deposits.
I'm out of range. Cover for me. I got a whiz behind a tree.
Now? No, I won't. Not until I hit you.
Time leader. Lost the lead.
Can you what? Hey, dog!
Why do you quit the game? Keep quitting. Stupid. It's that mini kid. Any money is mini Ray. They quit the game, in the middle of the game, they quit. He quits every time. Oh.
If I was to ask you for a game that single-handedly built the first-person shooter as a genre, I would hope that you would return to me in unanimous agreement, Doom. The game was so popular they called other stuff like it Doom clones for a hot minute. Sure would be a shame if we made that mistake again. But if we were to talk about a game that established the genre on consoles, we would all say in unison, GoldenEye, goddammit. But after that failed introduction, you'd be hard set to not have Halo waving in your peripheral, desperately trying to get your attention. The PC shooters that reigned supreme, like Doom, Quake, and Blood, might have dominated their respective platform, but would fail to capture the masses for those that adopted controllers instead of keyboards, if they even got there in the first place. Instead, for many years, Halo stood tall, and while the modern military shooter would eventually leave Halo's relevance tossed to the wayside in pursuit of faster, more jam-speed endeavors, it shouldn't bring down the enormous impact that the series had on the medium's history. Halo 1 revolutionized the single-player campaign.
Can you give Mom a hand with the groceries?
Varied landscapes, incredibly
And why can't you?
AI, with a story
Because it's my day off.
It's my day off too.
You get 3 days off.
It's my day off too.
We can fuck up one of them. You got 2 more.
But at least the world was infinitely more interesting than most first-person shooters of the time. To go along with that came an expansive multiplayer mode, and though many people remember and sing the praises of multiplayer, it's important to remember that sometimes
I don't know if she's home yet or not.
a rudimentary understanding of what made Halo fun led to maps and weapons that ended up creating a mode that aged with all the grace of Halo 3 machinima, but it's not like you can blame the devs for that. Halo's large-scale
Okay, we'll go help her.
16 players to play Blood Gulch was only properly functional 5 weeks prior to launch. With the uncertainty of its functionality, it could have never been high on the priority list. All of that would attempt to change, though, with Halo 2. Bigger, better, and infinitely more complicated. What we got was an incredible product, and while the single player was certainly a step up, the portion that saw not a mountain but a space elevator's worth of improvements was the multiplayer. The weapons were more interesting, you could actually tell what was happening, and the maps still ate ass. Except for Sanctuary, which is actually godlike. All around, the entire gameplay experience had been refined and expanded far beyond what the original laid down only 3 years prior, going so far as to rebuild its engine in order to accommodate for the new ideas in both the single and the multiplayer. However, as you might expect, this wasn't exactly an easy task. Halo 2's development is well documented as being a hellish experience. Day after day after day, 7 days a week, getting in reasonably early and then not leaving before 11 at night, 7 days a week for months and months. Isn't a quote that should come out of anyone in the industry, which unfortunately isn't something that seems to have changed much since Halo 2's development. What's worse is that once it finally released, many of the developers looked back on it as an underwhelming project, with many of its ideas not fully realized. And perhaps in retrospect, that's how it could have been as well. Thoughts running Halo heads and they'll likely reminisce about the nostalgia of the original single player, leaving them in awe, or the experiences they had on Halo 3 Big Team Battle and custom games. Halo 2 almost always gets left to the wayside. I certainly get why, but I still think that it's quite shaky. Especially as Halo 2 has one of the most bizarre, unusual pieces of tech that I've ever seen in a first-person shooter. Alongside the long list of unrealized features was likely a longer list of known shippings, one of them being button combos. Now, when I say combo, don't start envisioning one of these, or God forbid the alphabet soup your friend who likes them anime games keeps talking about, but you're not super far off. After all, they are all ways of increasing the amount of damage that you do within a given time frame, just in a way that doesn't physically take away control from the opponent. Instead, we're talking about a collection of inputs to create unintended sequences. If you've played Halo, you know how the melee works, right? You do a little lunge punch, and then you gotta twiddle with your dick before you're allowed to do anything again. I know how this works. Wrong! Because reloading is very clearly a non-functional mechanic. Couldn't you tell? Just look at it! The three major combos that we'll be talking about, the EXP, the PXR, and the double shot all work thanks to their shared X's, which are their reloads. And before we go any further, we should probably quell the alphabet soup anxiety that's building up inside of not only you, but mostly me. The reason that these are called button combos, or button glitches, in the first place is because the inputs that the actions correspond to in the Xbox gamepad. The important thing to understand is that it's not the buttons that make these combos work, it's the actions that follow. Take the BXB and the BXR, look them up on the command list and they might look like they function the same with a different ending input, but they do have a very important distinction. While both are melee cancels using reload to return someone to Flat Fuck Friday in one sequence, one is slow and can be done at any time, and the other is fast and can only be done with a full clip. The BXB uses reload more almost intentionally, simply taking the cancel properties that apply to both actions and looping them.
Yeah.
Barbara monkey, she's looking for Laura.
It might not look like it, but after the melee and then unsuccessful reload, you're counted as having your gun out as normal, so you can take a shot despite melee. My assumption is that calling for a reload at any point causes you to reset whatever action you're currently in, and only after is there a check to see if you're able to reload. So here you're not actually cancelling with a reload, you're cancelling with oddly implemented programming. So if you want to, you can go ahead and write professional hacker on your CV. After a melee, it only takes a single well-placed headshot to kill someone, and since the bullets come out on frame 1, BXRing is the better of the two choices on paper, but the actions that you'd need to take to get to that point with a full clip might make BXBing the better approach to a fight in the long run. This adds a layer of complexity to a simple melee system by providing you with a toss-up of weaker and stronger options that forces you to make choices mid-match to best suit your scenario. You also can't just look at the buttons and get the maneuver immediately. There's a timing to the hitbox. You probably never thought to think about if you're not trying to manipulate it, it requires you to think about distance and timing when you're going for a cancel. Otherwise you'll end up cancelling early, with enough distance between you and your opponent to kiss them without doing anything to it, or cancelling late and potentially wasting time. Now is it good for the game? Let's leave that for a minute. Since the discussion gets a bit messy, which is why there's a third word in the title, let's instead move over to the much cooler double shot. If you've been paying attention, you might have a good guess on where double shots are going, how they're performed, by using a reload to cancel one shot into the next. Except that's not how that works, otherwise you'd be able to BXR at any clip. With buffering in the process, still using the reload wrong, but in new and completely unintuitive ways. If you've ever heard anyone talk about button combos and why they don't like them, they're probably talking about double shots more so than variations on melee. That's likely because for a small bug, it can end up having some pretty heavy ramifications when it applies to the starting gun. The battle rifle is the defining weapon of Halo 2 multiplayer, being a 3-burst cooldown weapon. Think the Hemlock for all of you Apex supers. Since you can't buffer in BR shots to get the perfect timing after a cooldown, knowing when you're allowed to invade an American again can go a long way. In a game where 4 BR shots can end a man's life, but then 4 shots share pace with drying paint, being able to decrease the amount of time you need to get shots out is pretty damn important. So it's not really a surprise that some people, myself included, fixate on the double shot. The technique isn't entirely as the name implies. You're not shooting 2 shots at once, you're instead lining 2 different bursts back to back. In order to do this, you will need to have identified that I was actually lying about 3 sentences back, because there actually is a buffer window. It's just about as fickle as this post complaining about Halo Infinite development, not realizing that games have changed quite a fucking lot in the time between Halo 1 and 3, so you can't really make the same fucking argument. If you have a shot buffered in, and reload while the shot is buffered, the bullet fires immediately after, regardless of cooldown. This technique is simple, and for some people it might. In order to learn how to do this, I have lost hours, maybe days, to sitting in lockouts, looking around, trying to get the timing to the point where I could rebuild this map polygon by polygon. I close my eyes and see only snow. The timing can be especially finicky to learn since firing is tied to a trigger. If you don't have the most dexterous fingers, you're gonna have to learn where the actuation point is on an analog input alongside a buffer timing with no feedback. I rebinded fire to a bumper. I am not trying to fire half a shot. Thank you very much. This forced shot also causes another glitch, reload glitch, where you can no longer fire and you're actually reloading despite not being able to see it. So even though you have an objectively better fire rate than your opponent with a double shot, you add a nice little bit of risk versus reward since you're locked into a reload if you do it correctly. Except you're not. Because if you press Y twice quickly enough, you switch back into your gun, cancelling the reload and allowing you to shoot again. If you do another double shot immediately after that, we call it a quad shot. This certainly isn't the most flashy tech, it's not as dramatic as demo night. Do you remember the number of shots that it takes to kill someone? Do you see some of the typical problems of allowing some players to double the speed of kill somebody when you can play and divide the player base is certainly different. For as much as gamers say they don't want politics in their video games, they sure are quick to pick sides. And in this bizarre comparison, I am a political centrist, sitting firmly in the middle of the road waiting to be splattered with middle school wisdom so I may be the paragon of the obvious, allowing me to point out that double shotting increases the skill ceiling, and maybe Obama did bad things too. That is to say, while a lot of people either land in the good or bad camp, both sides have genuinely valid arguments for their case, and it's more a matter of perspective and what you want out of the game. Hell, even Bungie chimed in on this. By the letter of the law, button glitches are cheating, says Tom Gioconda. Tom wanted 12-year-old you to get banned because you saw Halo 2 tricks for epic trolling in 144p, and based on the fact that they've never intentionally made their way back into a game, gives me a decent assumption that the rest of the devs weren't so keen on it either. But I mean, 343 now own Halo, and you can't get banned for double shotting an MCC, so go fucking wild. From the perspective of casual players, button combos became the barrier between winning that fun game about driving shooting Green Man. From the competitive players, button combos became a way to differentiate yourself from other players, expand player expression. But when you've got these two conflicting ideas, it's also important to identify how something is expanding the skill set. If you look at something like rocket jumping, it sure as hell increases the skill set. It allows you to move faster and be more mobile. This might allow you to have more flexible routes around the map to control lightning spots in quick. What makes it so good is that the tech increases the skill ceiling by allowing players to players that can't be protected and more limited ones that are still viable and ideal. Rocket jumping doesn't change your ability to move.
Oops, pushed the wrong button.
Conventional sense of fighting a million Kirin to make the number go bigger. But my 4 shots from the starting weapon shoot faster than yours isn't really expansive to scenarios in the way that many people are looking for. A lot of the core appeal of Halo was how different equipment would change how you approach a scenario. And while people liked the idea of being good, they wanted to do that in ways that was being more creative with the tools that were given, practicing. That's not to say that double shots and other tech that's just harder execution for more reward can't be fun. Traditional fighters have been slow as hell to budge on that kind of new way of being entertaining. It's to make the concept of these exploits creating weapons that reward precise timing, and potentially another way of testing out the player's dexterity, just how precise they can be with the headshots. Inside of this environment where I think classes went to another field to the point where I'd be lying if I said it didn't elicit a giggle or two out of me the first couple of times that I used it effectively, but I'm also the guy that's eating the alphabet soup by the dozen. So long as I enjoy the scenario enough, I'll want to master it. However, even as someone that's willing to put in the time to learn this input, it still feels uncomfortable, it's clunky, and it's technically consistent. Sure as fuck doesn't feel like it in a franchise where most of the appeal for a large part of the role is the way that power weapons and the vehicles feed into a game full of unexpected moments. Most of the time, I want to hop into a game where me and the boys go, holy shit, that was so cool, I didn't know you could do that. Not, bro, that's not even impressive. Ninja 1 and Ninja 2 have been doing that since 2007. And then they call you whatever word they pull out of their 6-letter vocabulary hat that somehow always ends up being a slur. BXRing is fun to me from a higher level perspective, and I'd argue that if you're going into a game from 2004 for a competitive experience, then the small layers that it adds to engagements are great, even if they make for scenarios that are to be honed rather than innovated upon. But that doesn't mean that it's a skill that most players would want to get better at. It's not a problem that the other person wants to get better, but sometimes exploits like button combos make them better in a way that negatively impacts someone else's experience. Dedicated players who want to use the game to prove themselves might be fine with the audience, with largely conflicting ideas on what Halo more defined niche within the audience. The players that are still around are those that are quite competitive by
I don't know why people don't bring up mounted controllers when they talk about button combos, because if they do that, they have it. If they don't bring that up, they obviously weren't really around then. Period. They were literally everywhere. There were more modded controllers around than there were modded Xboxes. And they were just starting to gain a whole lot of steam. In fact, like 6 months after Halo 3 came out, pretty sure over half the population had modded controllers. Oh, I fucked up. I should really move that.
How are you? Safe travels.
Alright, where's your journal? Oh, must be it right here.
I can't carry any more of those.
Oh, I already have one? Well, shit.
I am nearly out of mana. My mana is low.
Alright, about to open the door here. Probably gonna reapply all my buffs. Oh, they even have the little animation playing.
None may steal the secrets of the makers. That's not really better for me. I don't remember if there's anything in here or not. Oh. I gotta go back to Iron Forge. I should have really made my Hearthstone there. Hello?
Okay.
My mana is low.
Alright, thank you very much. I'll be down there to get it shortly. Alright, thank you. Bye-bye. Apparently he tested over three times.
So what?
He tested drove it three times.
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, he takes it a little bit more seriously now because I kept telling him before how I had problems and he wasn't replicating it, remember? And then finally he got in the car with me. It might just need a tire balancing or something. I'm gonna go ahead and get in the shower. After I get out and stay in the cave. So where do you want to look at bed sheets?
No clue, because I don't even know what kind of bed sheets I want. If the nicer ones we seem to get fucked up faster than every other one. They feel great and all, but that only lasts like 6 months.
They don't feel great after the first wash. They feel like everything else after the first wash.
I need a target.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep playing my game.
Okay.
How are you? Be good.
On the random anime picker app. How do I get out of this ad? Oh.
I get for you today?
I'm gonna sell all this shit. Alright, is there any of these I can learn now? Oh, I gotta get rid of this alchemy recipe. Okay. 220. 225, 210, 150, 140, 125, 150. No. I can't learn a damn one of them. I'm gonna go to the auction shop. I'll turn this one in first. Pretty sure he's gonna give me gold. No, well, he'll give me something that's worth gold.
How are you? Be good.
So you gonna be ready to go run errands, woman?
I'm gonna stay here and play beat. I'm gonna just stay home and play video games.
Nope. We gotta go get sheets and we gotta go pawn your shit.
Here there. Up with you. What's on your mind? See you soon.
Then we're probably gonna go to the bank and I'm probably just gonna pay you some cash. And you never told me how much you spent on beer. I don't know why you can't text me right when you're buying it. You get the total. None of this is gonna help me. Wait, they have 4 ribs, don't they? Yeah, just one. Oh, I never checked on those elixirs. Nope.
Well met. See you soon.
I never went to my fucking mailbox. And I just went the long way. Oh, it's cloth donation. I don't want to do that.
I've the finest wares in the land. Off with you. Great to meet you. Watch your back.
Probably just do it myself at this point. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I got errands to run. Toodles.